Well, hi and welcome to my shop. Thanks so much for joining me. Just getting ready now to do the next project here. I think this is going to be a really exciting one. Hey, I actually own this radio, but there's no way I'm going to fit it on here, not to start anyway. Here, I'll go get it. There it is. That's our next project right here. This is my radio. Bought this at a yard sale a few weeks ago for next to no money. So I think what we're going to do today is we're going to take a really close look at it. We're going to go over it and try to assess, gee, was this a good buy or not, and what work it might require. So I think we're going to start working right away just on the general look of it. Okay, so at a glance, this is in really good shape at a glance. It's got all of its knobs, all of its buttons. It's got the bezel, the glass, all the markings. It's got a magic eye inside there. Ooh, magic eye. Okay, the cabinet itself is a little drab in that it's just a square box, but it has some details. It has some detailing along here, some detailing through here. This is kind of fancy down through the grill area. The side's actually in really good shape. When you look down right at the very bottom, down by the foot of the radio, you can look for areas in the corners that have separated, and that this actually kind of wraps around here quite nicely. So it's really in excellent shape. Let's see if I can spin it around here. It's a pretty interesting radio. Okay, so now I assessed this at a yard sale for about 30 seconds while the owner kept dropping the price to get me to take it. So I stopped my assessment and said okay when they got down to 20 bucks. So again, this cabinet is in excellent shape. This is I was going to say this is a solid piece of wood, but I don't think it is actually. But everything is rock solid. All the corners are intact. Oh, a little bit of damage right here. So this kind of just a little bit of the surface has been lifted here. You know, that's from grabbing it like this and pulling upwards. Something like that is probably happening. But it's very minor. It's on the back. Who cares? That's nothing. And the top here has got a little bit of, let me tip this back. Well, you can't quite see it so well on the camera, but you can imagine the top has got a fair bit of wear and tear on it. It would be easy to sand off just this top and refinish just the top without bothering with the rest of the radio, which I think is where I'm probably headed with this. Let's turn them around again. I don't normally do woodworking on these radios, other than cleaning and polishing. This one I may go a little further, because it does seem so simple to just sand that off. It looks like somebody scratched some kind of word in there. Who knows? Who knows what's happened on top of here? So looking more closely at the rest of the cabinet now, this is beautiful wood details here. Okay, the scratches are all very superficial. The cloth here is shot. It's all worn out in here. There's a nut. There's a bolt coming right through here. What the heck is that all about? That's kind of weird. There's the big speaker hole there. Big speaker. So we'll be looking at this later. This radio has a special style of transmission of a speaker called a transmission line speaker. Kind of an interesting deal. It's a two-bander, AM band, shortwave band. Shortwave band runs from 6 megahertz up to 18, which is pretty good coverage. That's pretty good. So, you know, does this work? I don't know. Do we here to plug it in. So this guy's going to be a little tricky, because let's take a closer look at the back again. There you can see the speaker sort of sales advertising there. No doubt there was a back on this radio at one time. It's long gone. So what went with the back, we don't know. Probably some words and information. Yeah. So when we look at the speaker is enclosed in there in this box, if you like, this specially shaped baffled box, cardboard box. So what they're really doing here, and I don't want to get into this in detail just yet because we're going to want to look much more closely at it, but the objective here is to capture all the air being pushed by the back of the speaker and do something with that air. And there probably is a vent out the bottom, a sound vent out the bottom of this radio, up here. Yeah, you can feel it right there. It's a kind of an open area with some screening. So this is a way to control the sound coming off the back of the speaker and get it into phase with what's coming out of the front of the speaker and essentially boost the bass. Now, in my experiences, these big radios don't need much help in the bass department, but that's pretty interesting stuff. I'll like to see what it really does. But my problem is I have to operate this radio on my bench, but I must have this speaker plugged in, and you know the cord is only so long, and this cabinet is gigantic. So normally I would remove the speaker and bring it up on my bench. And I don't know if I can do that in this case because of this cardboard box arrangement. So I may have to come up with some, believe it or not, with some way to have this cabinet right at my bench the whole time I'm working on this radio. Yeah, you know, the detractor on a big radio like this it's a big radio. That's the detractor. It's gigantic. Look at this thing. It's gigantic. You can practically park your car in here. And so I shouldn't be too surprised to find this cumbersome even here in a shop setting. Okay, but I don't think there's much more we can do until we've taken the chassis out. Let's spin it around again. I think I still have some strength left here. Yeah, this would not qualify as a portable radio. Now we'll get the knobs off here. Yeah, dial moves. The knob feels jammed in though. Are these locked in with a screw? I don't think there's any, I think these are straight. Look at that, that feels just terrible. I don't know what's going on there. December Bass Incorporated. You think I'm kidding about that? Eh? That's what it says. I'll get this camera over here. This control here. December Bass and Incorporated. It's got to be decrement and increment is what that has to stand for. They couldn't put up and down or louder, quieter. They had to put decrement and increment on there. Isn't that funny? Let's just keep going with the close-up camera here. So these knobs, they don't have a screw holding them on. They're just pressured on. I have to answer my phone for crying out loud. Okay, back to what we were doing here. See this stations, star, daytime, nighttime, something like that. That's my phone dinging there to tone. This is the control that kind of feels a little weird when you get back here. Like there's something jamming up in it, like something soft. And all these great push buttons. Look at these stations. WKBW, used to listen to that. CKTB, it's Canadian of course. WBEN, Buffalo. CFRB Toronto, WJR Buffalo. CBL, well it was from Toronto on AM. WGR is Buffalo. Phono, the last button is Phono. You might as well take a look at the I love these glass these old shortwave radios because they list all these countries: USA, England, Germany. So usually they list by city, but not in this case. Oh, they even have a spot there that shows where the amateur band is, and it is there. Germany, South America. The USA is everywhere. No cities listed though. Cool, and I love the Art Deco style of the numbering here. And the lettering on this is really cool. Look at that. Look at those fives. Big fat belly fives. So it's kind of neat. Police. Yeah, I don't think you're going to hear any police down there anymore. And of course there's the name, Stromberg, Carlson. What else is on here that we can look at? So the damage on the cloth, you know, it's bad. It's really bad. Why just at the bottom here? I don't know. It seems to be at the bottom of every one of these sections here. Look at the very bottom. It's really shot. Okay. You know, while I've got the close-up camera going, hey, I just got an idea. Before I take this out of the cabinet, let's take a look at it with the close-up camera here. So let's take a look at it. All this is all some goofball antenna connection. What is that? That's nothing. Throw that away. There's the phono input there. It's a little mucked up. Antenna input. Tube layout. Let's check that out. We got 6. Oh, these are not the most. Well, it's a combination. 6A8, 6K7, 6H6. Tuning indicator 6AF6. I've never heard of that. That's an unusual one. Uh-oh. 6V6 output tubes. Got lots of those. 6 SQ7. No problem there. So got a couple tubes here that are a little bit rare. 6A8. I've got some of those. Are all the tubes in here? Pretty sure they are. I took a look at the yard sale. Seemed like it had all of its tubes. Okay, so the name of the game is, let me get the chassis out, we'll take a closer look at it. I'm sure that's just a simple matter of undoing some bolts here, yeah. Get that out, I'll just unplug the speaker for now. We're not going to turn it on right away, if at all. Right, I was trying to get the knobs off the front here. Here we go. Just about nap time. Okay, so that came off. That's one knob. Came off easy. Okay, there's another one off. There we go there. Now, this is the one I couldn't get off. Let's see if it comes off. It's a two-parter. Oh wow, she's really stuck on there. Let's pull from here. Boo, she doesn't want to go. Yeah, it's always that way, isn't it? 4 things if one of them won't cooperate. It's always that way. Well, wow, he's really stuck on there. Really, really stuck. So, pull this knob off. I could shove something in behind here and kind of wedge it out. But I run the risk of damaging the cabinet, a very substantial risk. It's right up tight too. So another option is to loosen off the chassis and attempt to pull the radio back and leave the knob pushing against the cabinet, or it'll just fall off if I can do that. I gotta loosen off the back anyway, so let's check that situation out here. Wait a minute, put these knobs over here. Wow, really getting my day's exercise here. This is a flat screwdriver is required. Now, I'm looking for other things that might be, occasionally there's other things that are screwed to the chassis, like lights or something like that. I don't see that here. So I'm pretty sure it will just be pulling on the chassis and will be in effect pulling on that knob at the front there. Oh, the screw's missing. 2 screws missing. There's only the 2 back ones. The 2 front ones are gone. Missing in action. Okay, now let's see if this is gonna come out here. Oh wow, it's really wow. It's really held on tight. Holy smokes. There it goes. Wow. I'm breaking out into a sweat at this point. See if I can get put a little bit extra pressure on the knob here. It's not going to work. Our best bet is to keep pulling on the chassis. Okay, something happened. Let's go see. And the other knob is just oh, here it is. Okay, no damage done. Good show. Pull this off. Whoa! Just a little bit at a time. Okay, this chassis is just hopping to get out of this radio. There's the power cord. Okay, what do we got here? Yeah, this is a nice looking radio. I like these kinds of this kind of shortwave radio. This is my favorite kind to work on. Just kind of uncrowd myself here. Okay, now we're at the bench finally. Hey, over here. Have a look over here. So, I couldn't find a model number on this radio earlier. Stromberg Carlson, serial number, big long number. Volts, cycles, 25 cycle. Watts, 100 watts, a little high. HEPC approval number 1681. HEPC stands for Hydroelectric Power Commission. And that was the commission responsible for electricity in Ontario back at this time. So, oh, the buttons didn't come out with it. So okay, well, here's hoping nothing got damaged here. The buttons are just, let me take a quick look. Yeah, it's just buttons are sitting there all by themselves on the chassis. That's a little unusual. Hey, here's some tuning adjustments down in the front here. So, we've got, this is the band change, tuning slipping and sticking a bit. Lots and lots of dust on this guy. And no one's touched them for quite a while. How long, Jim, do you think this thing's been sitting? No, it's really hard to tell. Well, I'm going to guess this is the first time it's been out of its chassis since 1965. That's my guess. Let's take a look underneath. See what we got. What do we got? What's the surprise here? This is the big moment. Oh, someone's worked on this baby. Oh. Hey, didn't do a lot, but he did some stuff. All kinds of these blue capacitors in here, but all kinds of paper ones all over the place. It appears as if he's gone after the audio circuits down here. He's left the radio stuff alone. There's the new power cord. My guess, this doesn't really look original either. But that's a great thing, a terminal to put the wires on, because often the power wire comes in and you end up soldering it straight to the leads onto the transformer, which are almost always deadly stiff at this point. These ones seem to be rock solid stiff. So if you have to fool around with them by changing the cord and you don't have a terminal, you can be in trouble pretty quick. So interesting though, you left this capacitor in. Look, there's one right down in here. It's very selective. This one here. You left this one in, and it's down here in the audio. This is the audio area, isn't it? Or is this the power supply? It's the audio area. Power supply rectifier appears to be up here. This tube here. So, what that suggests to me is whoever had this last liked playing their iPod or something of that sort through this. This also tells me that at the time this work was done, which wasn't that long ago, that somebody assessed this radio as being worth the effort to do that anyway. That bodes very well for the quality of sound. Again, if somebody went to this effort to utilize this as an amplifier, they must have had some notion that the sound was going to be good. So I'm asking myself, why wouldn't I start this up again right now? There's a really good chance whoever did this work put this radio into an operating state. Now, for all I know, if my story is true, they've disabled the B+ to the radio circuitry up here, or done something else perhaps. Notice the phono plug was wrecked. Or something's going wrong with it here. So was that what they were doing? They were utilizing the amplifier, plugging in a phone. Maybe they were just playing records with us. Who knows? They could have been doing that too. How long ago was this done? Well, you know, there's no fingerprints or anything in the dust on the top. You kind of think that anybody doing any work on this would get fingerprints up here. Now, see, I haven't yet. I haven't got any up there, but you just think somebody would. In fact, somebody doing this level of work would tend to remove the dust from the top. That much dust means it's been around for a while. This was done quite a while ago. Those are really nice looking capacitors. You see 0.005. Okay, I'm just really thinking hard now about starting this guy up. So if I'm going to start it up, I got to figure out how to plug that speaker in here. Wow. Okay. Let me ponder that situation. How am I going to get that speaker plugged in here and have this on my bench in some convenient way at the same time? Let's see what I can come up with. Okay, here goes attempt number 1. Entire cabinet goes up onto my bench. Oh my gosh. Wow. This is not good so far. Yikes. It's definitely ready to fall right off and smash the life out of everything. By the way, I built this bench strong enough that it can hold 500 pounds easy. So that's not a concern here. What's a concern is this thing falling on top of me. You know, I can slide it around. It's going to be in front of every piece of equipment I have at that point. But we are just testing this right now. I did take another look at removing the speaker. No, that's not happening. There, that's stable. That's stabler. It's just the problem here is it's just hanging over my bench here. That's the problem. Get a block in there. Again, this is just temporary, just for the sake of testing the radio. The chances I happen to have exactly the right height. Well, that'll act like a safety there. Okay, so of course this could get to be a very, very exciting video. Okay, now can we really plug this guy in? I think so. Like with all these old cords, you really don't want to be rotating them unnecessarily or doing anything that might stress them out too much. This particular plug has 2 large pins, so you can get it in correctly. It's just as hard going in as it was coming out. That's probably good enough right there. Okay. The cord itself, other than being dirty, seems to be just fine. So now I'm not going to plug this right into a regular wall outlet. I'm plugging it into a supply on my bench here, right here. This in turn, not to worry about the little box there, but this supply comes from an isolation transformer, which means the third prong, which I'm not using here in any way at all, the third prong is meaningless. And it also means that there's no voltage in the set relative to the power system neutral or ground, which makes me safe. And if you are doing this kind of stuff and you don't know what I just meant, what I just talked about, you know, the clue, you need to read up a lot on isolation transformers, shop safety, stuff like that. Now, should I tip this radio down? Yeah, why not? Let's tip it down. Make it look normal. Some older radios you would not want to operate on their sides because the tubes should never be heated up when they're horizontal. They're only meant to be standing vertical in some of the older radios. Okay, now, do I remember what was what? This was tone. This has got to be volume. This is some kind of switch. This is tuning. Some kind of switch. Oh, it's kind of odd. Oh yeah, now I can't see the front of the cabinet here. Read what it says. Well, we'll figure it out. You just turn them all down. The volume control type controls. So volume, tone, tono, tuning. Just, it's, looks like it's, the glass appears to be bent back a little bit and it's rubbing against this piece here. It's nothing. Okay. Yeah, dust and all, we're going to start this guy up now. So not only do I have this plugged into an isolation transformer, I also have it plugged into a dim bulb system. And you can see the two light bulbs right here, one of which I am going to loosen off. So when I first turn the power on to the radio, all the power will get to the radio through this light bulb. That will restrict the amount of power that can get to the radio. The idea of this is if there's a major short circuit in the radio, rather than having full fault current flow into the radio and blow apart whatever it is, instead this light will come on really bright. And I'll have lots of time to just cut the power and nothing bad will happen. If I just plug this into an outlet and there's a serious short in it, which is not likely, but if there was, I could turn the power on and by the time I figure out what is happening, it's too late. It's too late. We don't want that to happen. Okay, and while I'm chit-chatting, I'm looking it over just to see if there's anything at all that should really make me anxious about turning on the power. It's got a light bulb here, only on one side. It's got a spot here for another one. Pretty awkward getting a light right in there because of this wheel. So one light only. Okay, that's it. I can't delay this any longer. So I think, oh now wait a minute, one of these is going to be the on-off switch, isn't it? We'll figure it all out as we go. Okay, we'll assume the radio's on. We'll now apply the power. Watch that light. Oh, see it go? Pretty bright, pretty bright. Giving it time. Staying bright. I'm waiting for it to dull down. Okay, I'm watching this I got other meters to watch. So this is not fully on. Okay, what's happening with the radio now? I don't hear anything. Okay, so we can look at this. You can see it's running with all of 50, oops, can't look at that like that. All of 50 volts. It's really not much voltage. That's one of the reasons why the dim light is staying bright. So I'm going to screw in the other light bulb. I'm going to increase the power, raise the voltage, see what we get. Okay, so now we're looking at about 80 volts. It's still fairly low for a radio like this. I see no light in the light. Oh, what was that? By gory gosh. It's making some noise. Really shouldn't at this point, but doing something. Okay, so it's still a fairly low supply voltage for a radio like this to operate. 80. 90 is usually where these radios start operating fairly well. But, who knows? What can we do here now? Volume control. Hey. Kind of sounds like a radio there. Volume back down. Tone control. Oh. Yeah, that's definitely tone. No doubt about it. Let's turn it up. What do we got for an antenna? We got nothing. We have absolutely nothing. Got my finger here. Let's just work with my finger. Turn it up. Finger. Don't hear anything. There's a chance the phono button is pressed. So how's that work? You push in the phono button, you get the phono. Now you don't want to use the phono. What do you do here? How do you get this button to pop out? Push it again and it pops out? That's not normal. Turn this down. Okay, it's in. Things got a little quieter, didn't they? So to get it out, I gotta push another button, but then I'm selecting. Maybe just push a little bit. It's really kind of odd, but okay. It is what it is. Let me put a little piece of wire on for an antenna. Just anything here. Actually, you know what? I've got a better antenna sitting right here ready to be used. Or what may be a better antenna. Right here. Okay, let's stick them on. That's good. With a noise. Okay, so I think I'm hooked up to an outdoor antenna via a 15-mile long coax lead. Volume up, let's tune. Nada. Okay, let's stop tuning. There's some tubes in the back here that have grid caps. So I'm going to touch those grid caps. See what comes out of the speaker. First we'll do it with a screwdriver. That's good. And this one. Okay, that's good. I don't need to do any more there. If they were dead silent, then that would tell me something. But the fact that they're noisy, let's keep trying to make this radio work here. Turn the tone level up. That might help. Hey, is the magic eye showing up? I don't think so. Looks like a totally dead magic eye. Yeah, that's too bad. I was really hoping for that. Could be other things though. Okay. Now, I gotta figure out which one of these is the actual band switch. Probably this. Yeah, this one. This one had that funny, this one down here. This one had that funny symbol of the sun for daytime, moon and moon. It's only two bands. Only two bands. Not sure what band we're on. still operating the radio on restricted power at 80 volts. Very low. So, and not surprising, I got to turn the volume way up to get some sound out of it. So I think I'm on the AM band. If that's so, we should pick something up down in here. Okay, so let's turn this again. It has 3 settings. For 2 bands, 3 settings. What's going on there? I would guess now. I would guess that was shortwave and now we're on AM. Radio's not happy now. Touching the grid caps back here. One of them has a small effect. Put it on this setting. Both affected. And this setting's 3 settings on a 2-band radio. I gotta look at the front of this radio. Let's take a look at it together here. Just a minute while I untangle my camera. Good. Okay, let's see if I can get up there. Volume, bass, and treble. So the volume control is a regular, what you would expect, and this control here, this is a switch. This hang on a second here, camera problems there. This one here is a switch. It's the next one, on/off tone. That's me turning it, and then the last one. Stations, 3 settings, star, half moon, new moon. Star, half moon, new moon, 3 settings. Where's the band switch? Well, there's no radio in there. There's only 2 bands. Oh, so this is why this control was jamming up. You see the cloth there has gotten kind of knotted up around where the shaft was. Let me push it out with my finger here. Yeah, so that's what was going on with that. I'm not surprised. Well, I don't get it. On/off tone. What's this then? Bass, December, and incorporated. It's not bass, that's bass. This is a fishing radio, of course. December incorporated. And I can't see it, but it says on/off tone. Well, I gotta fiddle with all these switches. I just don't know what the heck I'm doing here. A 3-band switch for a 2-band radio. Wait a minute. One of these switches probably engages the push buttons. That's probably what's going on here. Which one would that be? The star, the half moon, or the new moon? I don't know. We shall fiddle. We shall fiddle, and the truth will be revealed. So we will start on the star setting, which I got nothing received at all. Star setting. Volume up. Nothing. This control seems to be intermittent. Okay, so did they put the star on here or the symbols on here anywhere? It's a very, very dirty plate. No. Is the moon a record? And that's the phono setting? Why would you have a phono button? Oh. That's interesting. Does that happen on every setting? That definitely sounds like a radio. This is the middle setting. I don't know. I can't make any sense of how this might be working. But anyway, we know the radio can work because it is kind of working when I have this set in the middle. We just don't know what it's trying to do. This has got to be AM here. Just waiting. I'm just looking for any bit of voice. Hey, let's put full power on this. We dare do it. We'll raise it from 80 volts to 120 here. See what happens. Volume down. Power on. Full blast. Way more volume. I'm going to feed a fake signal into the antenna from a signal generator that is now buried behind the cabin here. How am I going to do this? This is more than a little awkward. Okay, so that's the antenna lead coming off. I'm going to try to move this antenna lead around to the signal generator. You know, I got another signal generator right here that's more accessible. Let's try this one right here, just because it's accessible here. Okay, so this is a sweep generator and it's in sweep mode. I turned it on, it's right in sweep mode. It's sweeping between bottom of the AM band to about halfway up. So if we can hear it when I sweep, then this thing is picking up the pulse of this sweeping past the radio. So another thing we can do is we can tune the radio to a set spot. Actually, see, just at the top range, the scan is running here, like this. And if you tune just beyond it, you don't hear it. If you tune into it, you can hear it. So we'll put this on, let's say 8. And then I'll stop this from sweeping and force it to 8. So sweep. $800. Wrong control here. Hear it? I can't quite see the number. 8157 is what's up here right now. Let me turn this up a little bit louder, a little bit more powerful. Hear it? So there we are. So this proves that this setting is this setting down here is currently in the AM band. Can't remember where I put this. I'll have to check it. This is definitely the AM band, and the radio is actually receiving. It's just receiving very poorly. Now, where am I on this band control? I think I'm in the middle, aren't I? Yeah. Oddly enough, and that is kind of odd to me. AM selection's in the middle. And why there's 3 here, I still don't know. One side and the other. Star and something I'm not sure of. Star, moon, and something I'm not sure of. Star, moon? Why would moon? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, what about this other switchy one? Let's flip this one. Kind of tone change going on there, I think. That's all that is. Got me. What they're trying to do here with they've turned the tone up and the sound disappeared, so it's probably a treble cut. And it's pretty good at cutting it. Okay, all in all, we got ourselves an excellent radio here to work on. It looks like number 1, capacitors out. A few more of those paper capacitors out. That may solve some of the performance problems right there. The speaker and all is working. Everything is here. It's fantastic. The Magic Eye is a dud. At this point, that's probably the case, but who knows? We'll look into it a little bit further. Maybe there's a reason why it's not on. Maybe we can bring it back, because that's a really neat feature. Fantastic. Good show. Okay. Hey, thanks for watching, and next video we'll get at some of those capacitors in there.